Hello and welcome to the Black Crow Gaming Podcast. Slightly earlier time tonight, but that is because we have a rather special guest with us. So say hello to the wonderful, very handsome Manny Cheema from Teaming Glasshammer Gaming.
Hi guys, thank you very much for having me.
Our pleasure. And we've also got the ever wonderful and recently turned 30, Sam. I can't crack out the big 3-0 joke this time.
Yeah, thanks for that one.
It's right, mate. It's cool. You're entering your prime. That's it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's how I like to think about it. I'm gonna be 30 in December as well. We are entering our prime, bro. That's it.
I hope you have a better 30 than I did, because I got COVID and have been ill every day in my 30s so far. So yeah.
What an entrance into 30.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
I bet you do. Well, guys, thank you. Sam, thank you for being able to come on the podcast and help us out when you've not been very well. And Manny, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know you've got a Team England call later on to work out how you guys are going to dominate the world. But yeah, it's really great to be able to have you, especially since you are one of our wonderful sponsors, coming on and chatting about your experiences at the top level.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for having me. It's always good fun coming on and chatting with friends about 40k. That's just what we're here for.
Yeah, I think that's one of the nicest things we found with the community. That now it's like you hear all the names. Obviously, Sam and I, before we'd met you, had heard of you and sort of followed some of the stuff you've been doing and everything like that. But then now you should get to call each other your mates and just have a laugh and a pint, and obviously give you a kiss. No, you gave me a kiss, didn't you, at my birthday? I can't remember who was it. It was.
So Toby begged you to.
That's about right. I think the exact way it went was I went.
You went here, right here, mate, right here.
And you resisted the urge to slap him, and
after the language I've been using on his stream, it wouldn't surprise me if he'd gone for a slap instead. Yeah, well, it's kind of cool that with that stream with Glasshammer, it seems to have sort of started a bit more of a UK push to get streaming on, because now UKTC have sort of followed in your footsteps and have jumped in on the streaming train as well.
That's really cool. And that's really cool. Zach's events are amazing. And he has the biggest ones in the UK, so it's really cool to get coverage of those as well. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's lovely to see more competitive English 40k on stream and everything like that, because we do have some of the best players in the world, and they just weren't getting that coverage. So now we are seeing some even more of the best players of the world on stream. And speaking of best players in the world on stream, you were on stream lots over was it last weekend?
Yeah, man, it was good fun. It was loads of fun. I love playing on stream against people. You just have the thing is, you're just having the same fun that you have with your opponent, but like everybody else is joining in too. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about sort of your WTC experience and how it went?
It's so cool. Like I stand by the fact that it's my favorite event of the year. The WTC has always been my favorite event of the year, and I think it just will be. I think it's, in my opinion, teams is like the best way to play 40k. That's just my opinion. I know some people just prefer singles loads as well, but for me, I think when you win as a team, but when you lose, you also lose as a team, and you just put each other together and you just carry on. I think it's that level of like camaraderie and stuff. I really like that. I think it's very cool playing in teams, and also one of the better things about teams as well is if there's one army or two armies that are like quite clearly broken, right? Like quite clearly broken in the meta, each team will only have one or two of those armies. Like the other 6 armies have to be different. You can only take each faction once. So if one person, say Thousand Sons and Eldar were the 2 best armies in the game, a team would only be able to have Thousand Sons once and Eldar once. Whether, if you use your Eldar in Yunari, you then can't have normal Eldar. Like if you use the Eldar in Yunari, they are gone. So each faction will only be represented once. And I think that's great as well, because like we said, if you have 2 armies that are like clearly at the top, or one, in teams, it's manageable. In a singles event, you might go, okay, after I play my first 3 games, if I'm doing really well, I'm definitely going to play Eldar 3 times or Thousand Suns and Eldar for the last 4 games. But that's not the case in teams, like unless, in teams, there's also that element of, if there's only one broken list out there, do we make some counters to that one list? Do we take some armies that are skewed just to play against that one army? So there's loads of tactics that come into it and stuff, and it's more around a team rather than just around one person. The fact that it all revolves around multiple people together, I think it's very cool.
Awesome.
So the experience out there was amazing. It is like Mechelen, when it's in the town it's in, Mechelen is beautiful. It's an absolutely amazing town. The beer, Belgian beer. Of course, Belgian beer is incredible. The beers over there are awesome. There was like a poke bowl. There's a place called Beastie Burgers, which is absolutely incredible. We went there like at least 3 times this holiday. And then there's the Thai cafe, which actually is really nice. Went there for lunch on the first day, to get everyone, in the mood for the first round. And that was very cool. And I think my favorite part is just meeting everybody, because some people you only meet once in a year. Which is unfortunate, but also really cool at the same time. Like the guys from the US, got to meet all of them. Got to see the guys from like New Zealand and Australia, and even like I've got loads of friends on like Team Italy and Spain and France and stuff like that. And you don't really get to see them very often, because when we go to WTC events, we see everyone who's quite big in the UK scene a lot, but you don't get to see your friends abroad very often at all, maybe once or twice a year. So I think that's my favorite thing, is going out there as a team and gelling with other teams. I think that's very cool.
So is there quite a big social aspect to the WTC? Is all the teams that kind of go out for pints together and all that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. So like for example, we're out there for like 7 days, 6 days, 7 days, but you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so you're playing for 4 days. So when we go there on the Tuesday, the reason we go there on the Tuesday is so Tuesday night everyone can go out and just get smashed together. That's the idea. So you go out, you meet loads of people, you meet your friends again that you haven't seen in a while, and you're out with your own team as well. And then you just drink late into the night. And that's what we did on Tuesday. Like, we were there. Team USA, people from Team USA turned up there. Like every team was there. Like there were people from Team Iceland there, like loads of different teams, France, Italy, everybody turned up, and we were all drinking in one place. All the lads from Team Luxembourg, whole tight lads from Team Luxembourg, love those guys. And everyone turned up, and we were at Bar Popular. It's called Bar Popular, and it's like 1 minute walk from the hotel that we stay at, which we were quite lucky with that. But that's the bar that everyone tends to gather around, and it's just incredible. There was like 90 to 100 of us from like loads of different nations.
Wow.
Just stood outside this bar, outside as well, beautiful weather, and we're just out there drinking late into the night. I thought that it was absolutely awesome. And then we woke up on Wednesday a little bit hungover, obviously, but then that's why you go on Tuesday. So you've got all day Wednesday to recover. We've got all day Wednesday to recover, do a few matrices and stuff like that, get your armies finished painting. And that was what I did on Wednesday. Vic was helping me, Vic and Higgy.
Oh my god!
So thanks to them guys.
Talk about leaving it to last minute. You've
right? Yeah, got the
Europe
army finished on the Wednesday, and then on Thursday you play, but you only play one game on Thursday, and it's in the evening, so it's quite relaxed as well. So that's why if you go on Tuesday and then it gets quite messy on the Tuesday, you've got all day Wednesday to recover, and then on Thursday you only play at like 5 p.m. in the evening. So you do have all day Thursday to come together and prep as a team as well. And then you play in the evening. It's just a great feel, and so there's quite a lot of social aspect to it, like you see. And then also, like on the Sunday, regardless of what, like, if you win, if you lose, you just go out. Like, we this year didn't perform as well as we wanted to, but we still all went out on the Sunday, went out as a team, had a team meal, and then half of us went out to Bar Popular and just, met all the other guys and from the other countries and just had a few drinks before you come back. And I think that's what it's all about.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, that sounds like an absolutely great time. I think, I was chatting to Charles Gould quite a lot from Team Ireland while he was down there, and he was having a great laugh with, I think he might have had quite a bit of the Belgian beer to get him through. But yeah, no, it sounds like an absolutely brilliant calendar event.
Yeah, it is just a wild, man. I mean, are we allowed to use bad words on this stream or not?
Yeah, of course you can.
Toby's the worst for it.
So Typhus from Team Poland is getting married, and he basically had a massive dildo that he brought with him to this event. and he was getting people that he knows to like sign it. So he came over to me it was amazing. On the Sunday night, I was drunk. I was like, I had loads of drinks out of it. And then Ty was just waving this dildo in my face. He was like, mate, sign this. And I was like, what is going on? So I signed that as well. So my name is now forever immortalized among many others on Typhus's dildo.
Oh, beautiful.
These are the stories of the WTC.
Nice. They're the ones that stick around. Who cares who won that game or who smashed who? The dildo's the most important part, and what will live on.
Can we clip that? Can we clip that bit?
We will clip it. Don't worry. That will live on forever on our shorts part.
I mean, I feel like now we've got to just try and find every Glasshammer event we go to. We've got to try and find something hilarious that we get as many people to sign as possible. So
that's a cool idea. That is a cool idea.
I think we'll have to have a think about that. In terms of what we bring, because
started off with the cock card, and now we're going to start bringing around a dildo.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go straight in with the dildo. But, no pun intended. But I think we'll try and find some sort of inappropriate gag gift to go and get everyone signing. Although I think one of the cool things now is you've gone straight from playing at that top level, best players in the world there, to now you're going to be TOing shortly, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's come around so fast.
Yeah, we've just we've only just started with the events. We've learned quite a few lessons with this one. I think we've unfortunately the weekend we've done it on is a bank holiday in the summer holidays. So we'll learn some lessons with that one. Don't do it around there. Don't do it around there for the next one. But no, it's going quite well, to be honest. We sold 200 tickets to the last one, and of course everybody really liked the Birmingham one. But I think we've just done this one a little bit quickly is what we've done here. But we've got about 50 to 60 tickets sold so far. So it will still be, like a GT or a major level GT. It's like 60 odd players at the moment. There's still 1 week left. So guys, if you want to come along and you want to join in, we've got some awesome prizes. Like first play, we haven't skimped on the prizes still. The prizes are exactly the same as Birmingham GT, even though we've only got like 50, 60 players there. First place will be still a £200 voucher and a badass weapon for both placings, and also best painted. The first best painted will get a £200 voucher and a badass weapon as well. So the prizes are still going to be whacked right up there. And space, well, now we've got more space than we thought we were going to get for people. So you guys will be really comfortable in that hall.
We spoiled.
Yeah, so this is only our second one. Like we said, we're still learning lessons. We took a lot on board from the feedback from the first one. I think the overall gist was that people really enjoyed it, but there were one or two things that we could have improved on, and we're working towards improving on them for this one and also the following ones. There will be more being announced very shortly.
I'm
but
excited
for the time being, the Wolverhampton GT is at the end of this month, is on the 31st of August and the 1st of September in the Bilston campus of the Wolverhampton College here in Wolves. And you've still got 7 whole days until list submission. So if you want to get in, guys, get your group together and come on down. David, it's confirmed as well, David will be running the stream, the Glasshammer stream. So the awesome stream that was at the WTC, don't know if you guys saw that, but we streamed all of WTC. It's on the Glasshammer Gaming YouTube channel. So go over there, hit follow, subscribe. And then when he goes live on that weekend, you'll be able to join in if you're at home and support from home, cheer for your friends when they come on the stream and stuff like that. And if you want a chance of being on our stream, well, there's only 60 players at this one so far. So the biggest chance of getting on that stream is getting a ticket and coming down.
Yeah, 100%. Like I can't agree more in terms of how fantastic the event was in Birmingham, and like the fact that it's a slightly smaller one as well, but with the size of prizes. Like if you are motivated by prizes and things like that, 100%. What a great opportunity to go out there and like get a hell of a good set of prizes. But also like as a social event and as a tournament, it was such a good laugh. And also I think a light breath of fresh air we had was because obviously we all play on the not on the WTC, sorry, on the UKTC. Yeah, the UKTC tournament terrain quite a lot, which is a heck of a lot of fun. But because it's that Glasshammer terrain, it's just something different, and that can be so refreshing. So like that's and what's that looking like? Because obviously we've done a lot of plug here. We've done the previous podcast where we chatted about the map pack for Birmingham. So what's new with this one? If people...
So interestingly, pretty much all of the maps are the same.
Okay.
There is only one, potentially two, that have changed. I think it's only the one. I believe I changed the one map, and it was the sweeping engagement one, because we got a lot of reviews about the others saying that they're quite good because they offer like sort of like dense terrain towards the middle of the board, which is what people want. You know, it forces you to engage with your opponent, actually fight for the points properly. And so people really like those. But the sweeping engagement one we found was a little bit light towards the middle. Sabotage was incredibly hard to score because I didn't realize when I made the maps, the ruins were all nipping each side's deployment zone. So it's a little bit harder to get onto a ruin outside your deployment zone to do it. So we've made that a little bit better. And also we've made the arcs through the middle a little bit smaller. And on that exact same map, we went for hidden supplies on Linchpin.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize the amount of points you could score in the last battle round on that. So we got some feedback on that. And those were a few things that we got feedback on to change. So I was like, okay, yeah, fine. Let's give it a go. Let's make it and see what we come up with. So we've changed the layout of the map. So it's a little bit easier to stage up the board, which I think people will enjoy and like and make more engaging games. But then also we took hidden supplies away. So there's a different mission rule with it now, but it's still Linchpin because I still really like the Linchpin mission.
I think Linchpin's a great mission.
Yeah, I think it's a great mission. You know, it forces you to have to hold your home rather than leaving nothing there, like in some of the missions you can. So that's something that people have to think about before going to the event. So I quite like Linchpin, but we took hidden supplies out. So there are only 3 objectives in No Man's Land rather than 4. And I think, like we say, that's going to make for more engaging games.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think that was the one that I was hoping to see some change on. I'm not sure if I put feedback in on that because equally I was absolutely hammered when I played that round. I remember walking up to the table to my opponent, bless him, and just going, "Hey, bud, lovely to meet you. You're going to win this game. I'm absolutely slaughtered." So that was quite a short game. Although actually it was a bloody good game in the end. I was against a Tesseract Vault, which was
I played the same guy round 5.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Oh, lovely bloke. Really lovely bloke.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was a
was it
rough
David
game
that you guys played? Was it David Leniewski?
No, it was...
No. There was a few Tesseract Vaults around. I think there was 3. One went 5.
David podiumed. I think David came second.
No, yes, it wasn't him. Yeah, because I won my round 5 against him. So, but yeah, no, it was one of the other ones.
Nice.
I had a really good laugh with my round 5 opponent, which a chap playing a really shooty Eldari list, and he was like, "Oh my god, round 3 map was just like exactly what I was looking for. It looked perfect, all these shooting lanes." And then I got World Eaters and got charged turn 1. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Oh, amazing.
No, I think that's going to be really good to see the new maps and to watch it on stream. One thing that I remember you mentioned previously, I know it's not about Wolves, but one you mentioned about the potential for a Glasshammer teams tournament. Is that still maybe?
Yeah. So we want to do a teams tournament as well because we're finding a lot of people are enjoying teams, and you know, me and Dan both certainly believe that the way to play 40k is teams. Like it's the best way to play in our opinion. But, you know, it's just a little bit more organizing in a teams event. And I think, you know, people want to get teams together and stuff like that as well. So I think we need to establish ourselves a little bit more with singles before we start running the team ones. But I'm hoping that there will be one in the books at least for next year. So 2025, there will definitely be at least one team tournament next year, which I think is going to be very, very cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they seem to be really popular at the moment. Like it's hard to get tickets for them. So
because it just adds another dynamic, doesn't it? It's like there's more things you have to think of on top of just playing the best army in the game kind of thing.
Well, yeah, the list building makes it far more interesting because you can cover each other's weaknesses, and so it's not just about me just trying to maximize my my worst matchups and my best matchups and be like, oh, I could just risk avoiding that or whatever for singles, or I need to worry about all these things. I can go, oh, I'm not going to worry about that one in particular because my 4 teammates or 7 teammates in WTC, they'll have that covered. I can just avoid that and I don't need to worry about that matchup, which means I can focus more on the ones where I can go out and smash it, or I can focus on being a 10-10 player or something like that. There's so many different dynamics to the list building
There's so
aspect
many
in
roles,
teams.
isn't there? Yeah, there's so many roles in a team that you'll have pushers, you'll have people who graft for points, you'll have people who are there to blunt the other people's strongest armies. There's quite a few different things to consider. And also it's what I like about it as well is it's sometimes not necessarily the best 5 armies in the game you need to bring, but the best 5 combination, the best 5 that works, synergize well together, which is, that's a skill in itself as well. It's very, very cool. There's loads of dynamics to it.
What would be kind of like the one top tip that it, like, say that someone's just like they're a group of 4 other mates, they want to go to a teams tournament. What would be your number one top tip for sort of a new team going to one of these tournaments?
I would say there's quite a lot of value in having faction specialists in a team as well. So I would say, like identify what like the top army is at the time being. And if one of you were to play that, I would recommend for the others to play armies that they're comfortable with. Because I think quite a lot of people, they'll go to these team events and they'll tech for the best lists out there. But if your team brings lists that they're comfortable with, armies that they're comfortable with, maybe they're not the best, the top of the top in singles, but having faction specialists on them makes it hard for people to be able to prepare for them in teams and pair accurately into them. So I'd say if you're new, play things that you're comfortable with, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's a really good tip. I know I played Firestorm Dark Angels at the ITT, so not the most meta of lists.
But the one that you had played for like the 4 tournaments before that, right? So
literally being comfortable.
Yeah, it was very much that, and I think looking back, because at the time I didn't really know the differences between like what's a blunter, what's a pusher, all that kind of stuff. But looking back now, I can go, oh shit, those teams that actually kind of knew what they were doing. They were trying to blunt me the whole time. It's probably because they just didn't really know what kind of nonsense I was pulling, and they were like, somehow this man has scored reasonably well in these last games. Blunt.
I mean, it was an interesting ITT for me, where I went 5-0. It was really good for me. My team didn't do quite as well, sadly. But we had a great time. I think that there was a lot of newer players on the team, and they hopefully enjoyed it. I was just trying to get them the best matchups I could, so they could give it their best go. I actually ended up pairing into my worst matchup in one of the games. It was like, oh no, what have I done? But yeah, I like to think that they had a really good time. They didn't tell me otherwise, but I think that it might have been just sparing my feelings. I don't know, but it was even though it was a tough time for the team, I think we all had like fun as a team. Win together, lose together. So that's the other thing, is like when you're playing and when your team wins and they win because you got like 4 points in a matchup that was horrible for you, like that's got to be like the best feeling.
Yeah, that's incredible. That is, yeah.
So what kind of, were there any like top stories that came out of the WTC for you or Team England where like those kinds of situations happened, where someone managed to like pull out of the bag or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were rounds where they were extremely tight, and I think in those rounds you're looking for a couple of those moments, and I mean France had that against us. Yeah, they went into some games. There were some games that were like we were 50-50 on, they were 50-50 on, and they got the win, man. They just had it over on us in a few different matchups, including my own. I think they were very, very good. I think France, man, they deserved it. They came, they prepared really, really hard. They were fantastic opponents to play against as well, very sporting, and yeah, they just destroyed it. I think they were absolutely phenomenal.
So there's something that I noticed today about Team France is, and I don't know if you know about this, Manny, but I put it in the group chat for us, Toby. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
But France are currently the ITC Team 1, with only having played in one tournament, which wasn't the WTC, it was the War Masters. And because 10 of them came in the top 37, including some of them at the very, very top, they are now the current ITC like top dogs on the team.
Oh wow,
Thing,
that's
just
amazing.
France, and it's just
But I
like,
think it's because
how did they manage to do
Olivier
that in
came
one?
first. I
Yeah,
think
they
it's
came
because Olivier
first,
came
like
first, and
fourth,
Sacco came second,
second, and fourth. I think was also
and they
first.
came fourth. Yeah, they came first, second, and fourth as well. That's a chunk of points. A chunk of points.
Yeah, but like 10, 10. They had like probably what I think like 15 plus players playing in that event, and yeah, 10 of them in that top 37 of like a 460 person event.
Yeah,
Like that's insane.
that's on
So no wonder that they took those.
They genuinely deserved
You know,
it. They did so well, so well.
I mean, that is kind of incredible just to think like what they had to do to pull that off.
Yeah.
And
Congratulations to them, man. They
Yeah.
worked very hard. They worked very
Huge.
hard.
they were coming out with some weird stuff that, like, I mean, maybe obviously I know that all the teams do a lot of prep work and try out loads of different things, but like and maybe to pull behind the veil a little bit, but like, did you guys consider the Crusader spam that won the War Masters? And was it
No,
big?
we weren't looking at Black Templars. To be fair, our choices between Marines for ourselves were Blood Angels or Dark Angels. We didn't really have a Black Templar player, so we
Right.
didn't really look into the Black Templars to be, taking them. And we thought Blood Angels or Dark Angels were more suited to the players we had. So I think your decisions have to be made on that as well.
Oh, definitely.
But that Black Templar list that Olivier was playing was phenomenal. It was incredible. He did so well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Is like, it seemed that everyone, other than France, were thinking Blood Angels, Black Temple, Blood Angels or Dark Angels, right? Like
Yeah.
that was the majority of the Space Marine list. I mean, I think there might have been a couple of others, but that was, I think,
Yeah, there
everyone
were
at a
some
Space Marine
Space
list.
Wolves in there, which are really
Oh yeah, Space
interesting and
Wolves.
cool lists as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the French Crusader list was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm terrified to see it pop up around the time. But if it's not piloted by the right person, I mean, time is going to be a huge issue, and also
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I'm sure you have to play that thing really well. I'm sure there's some matchups where it's like I can't deal with that many
Yeah.
Crusaders, but when
Yes.
you can,
Yeah.
it might not.
When you can, you have to play it
realistic
very well.
pilot.
And Olivier
Yeah.
played it very well.
Of
He
course he
did
did, yeah.
awesome.
Did you think going into, because you were against him, weren't you?
No.
Oh no, sorry, that was Naz, wasn't it?
Alex played
Alex,
against
sorry, it was
Olivier.
Alex. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he feel going into that matchup?
We had it down as like a drawish type of game.
Hmm.
But then Alex had to go first.
Alex
which
was
is a big
Votan, right?
difference. Yeah.
Just
Alex
for
had to go
anyone that don't know.
first with his Votan, and then Olivier got to go second. And I think that Black Templars list going second on a game like Linchpin is very strong.
Oh, second on
So
Lincoln,
that first turn roll was actually quite important, more important than we'd realized when we were doing the pairing. So that's something that caught us. Yeah.
Do you think that in that case, that when you're building your matrix, first and second is now, because of the nature of 10th and the nature of how much more important going second is right now, is that something that teams really need to look at closer these days?
It's very tough to do. That's very tough to do, because I think it's even harder to do because of secret missions.
Of course, yeah.
So you've got to. It's weird because some armies will have to drop their matrix score because they just cannot stop people's secret missions. So it's like, how do you account for that on the matrix, right? Like how, like, if you're playing, say, like a slow army like Death Guard or something like that, and then you're playing against something like Demons or Grey Knights, where they can like pick up a unit and then 3-inch deep strike it in the next turn in your deployment zone and just do their secret mission. Like, it's very hard for a slow army to stop something like that. So that kind of army would have to just go like, it's kind of one of those things where you'd have to kind of put in your matrix, like, okay, this is a drawish type game. However, if they go second, they'll do their secret mission, so it's a loss. And then it's very hard to pair going off like, oh, we could put this into this, but actually if it goes second and the other person gets the secret mission because they're going second, then it could look like a bit of a spicy spot. So it's another dynamic in pairings, I think, with the secret mission. That's the one thing that I am unsure about in 10th edition is the secret missions. I think they're a great concept. I think they're a great idea, but I think they give too many points.
I was about to ask like what your opinion is of secret missions. I mean, I don't pull my punches. I think as a person who plays the army that I play World Eaters, and I'm as a World Eater player, I don't think I will ever get to secret mission. I don't think I'll ever get the chance to. My game plan is always going to be pressure the board early,
Oh, as a World
try and
Eaters
get
player?
ahead. Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Well, because armies like mine that you pressure the board early, you run out of steam towards the end game. I'm never going to get to score a secret mission unless Angron revives and I put him on their home objective at the end.
Yes,
Like,
I've done
and
secret
I'm
missions a
always
couple of
almost
times with
always
World Eaters.
ahead on primary, so I never get the option to choose it anyway. So it's this thing of like, well, I mean, I literally had someone when I complained about this say to me, "Well, why don't you try and like not score as much primary early on, so then you can do it?" And I'm like, "That's an awful game mechanic. Like, if you're telling me I have to try and not play to win to then win later, it seems."
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that with World Eaters a couple of times. I've like just held my home objective for 2 turns. So like for battle round, because imagine battle round 2, I got 5 points. And then battle round 3, I got 5 points. So I was only on 10 primary.
Yeah.
But then I've still got battle round 4 and battle round 5 to just score another 10 points. Because your primary maxes out at 20 if you do a secret mission.
No, I mean, to be fair, like,
and then you get plus 20, so you end up on 40 anyway. So you could do 2 turns of hold your home objective, and nothing else.
But
And I guess that
And
gives
then
you
do
the
secret
scope
mission
to,
again.
it does. One,
shit
the
out
opponent
and-
can do the same.
Yeah.
Or do less and undercut you again because they know they're gonna score more later.
But this is why it only really works if you go second.
Yeah, and then the other part is like it's just difficult. Quite often I don't have much alive at the end, right? Like hopefully, basically, if I have much alive at the end, I've won the game anyway. I'm probably getting more than 40 points on primary. Like it's only on those close games where I usually run out of steam and they are catching up. I mean, when we talk about the game with the Tesseract Vault, I stopped him from scoring any primary the entire game until round 5, right? On Take and Hold, 4 rounds of 0 primary, and then he scored 35 on the last turn. And yeah, I still won the game, but it brought it from, if we're talking about WTC scores, we go from 20-0 to suddenly like 15-5, right? So it can swing. I mean, especially for WTC
it can
scoring,
swing
it does
games
swing a
massively.
lot.
It's my only issue with them
8
is I
point
think they
swing.
give too many points.
Yeah,
That's my thing, they give too many points.
Or
part
that
of me does kind of like that dynamic though, because it does mean that in teams particularly, you can scrap to that very, very end, and your opponent can never really switch off, and and that just that. I know obviously that puts a little bit more pressure on players in already long days, but equally, I think that's quite a cool little dynamic where it amps up that tension and those potentials to go, okay, we just need 4 points. We just need 4 points. Fuck it, I'll secret mission. I'll get my water onto the home objective, and there's a little bit more drama to it. Which, sure, when we're talking purely competitively, drama is never overly a great thing, but equally, it's kind of cool. And those are the war stories that either you win or lose on. You're going to tell them anyway, and that's going to. Whoops! Nearly sent my mic flying. So yeah, no, I think
it's just a number of points I give. So I do like I said, I do like the concept of secret missions. I just think the points they give are too mad. Because, for example, imagine you play a game like Take and Hold. So Take and Hold is a very interesting one because there are usually 3 objectives in No Man's Land, sometimes 4 if you're playing Hidden Supplies. And of course, there's that secret mission where if you hold 3 objectives in No Man's Land, you get 20 points. Now, you can literally sit, if you go second, you can literally sit in your deployment zone for 4 turns and only hold your home objective. You could hold your home objective once, just once. You don't need to hold it more than that. So you could be on no objectives turns 1, 2, and 3. In turn 4, you could hold your home objective once. And then in turn 5, you run out and you hold 3 objectives. And you go, I'm on 3 objectives, so I get 15 for Take and Hold at the end of the game. And I also get 20 for my secret mission. So I've sat in my deployment zone on 0 objectives, and I've got 35 primaries for going second. just in that last turn. And I think that's where I'm like, okay, that's a feel that feels bad.
It's also, I think it's not just about the fact that they're high points that you can get, to swing games. I think
Yeah.
it's also how unstoppable they are. There's just the majority of the time when people take them, it's like, oh, you've taken a secret mission. I cannot stop that. Like, if it is they're going second and they're going to just take those 3
Yeah, I
objectives,
think you do
or
have to
they're going to hop
factor in.
onto
You do have to
the
factor in.
home
Yeah,
objective.
you have to factor that in to your list building as well. Like, oh, if people
Yeah,
take
yeah.
secret missions, how am I going to stop this? You've got to factor that in. So that is the thing of you got to look at your list and how you can factor that in to counter them. But I think it's if they didn't give so many points away, it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder what that sweet spot kind of looks like, of like how many they should get. Like, is 10 too few? Is 15 where it should kind of be? Like, where would you put that sliding scale?
So I would put it at 10 points for a secret mission instead
Okay.
of 20 points. I would put it at 10 points, but I would cap them at 30. So I'd say, well, you can
Oh,
score more
okay.
primaries naturally,
Right.
but you're capped at
That's probably better
30.
because it's less of
Yeah,
a swing then. It's not
yeah,
like it doesn't hold you back as much.
yeah.
And yeah, I think I like that more.
So you're still capped at 40 if you take a secret
Yeah.
mission. You can't get a 50. You're still capped at 40, but more of that 40 is on you going and playing the game. And 10, 10 of those 40 points, 25% of your points come from the secret mission.
Yeah, no, I
Obviously,
think that would be cool. Sorry, Manny, you were saying something?
I think that would be cool. That'd be a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because then, because at the moment, you get 50% of your primary for doing that one secret mission at the end. So I think that's a bit too many. But if it was 25% of your primary points, that'd be okay.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I think my
Hey,
OBS just like decided to crap out for a second there.
oh,
So
you're
I don't
fine,
know if we
man.
lost stream or not, but I think we're back now anyway.
Awesome. Well, so I was just going to say, Manny, obviously you played your Blood Angels. A, how did you find them? B, would you change that choice with the benefit of hindsight?
So I found them great. They were lots of fun. But the Blood Angel army is just lots of fun. It is a lot of fun to play and use. And I think for the role we wanted and like my play style, I think it was the right choice of Marine for us personally. I would have maybe changed the list slightly, like not taken the exact same list. But I think the issue wasn't with the list. There were like two rounds where I'd gotten some of my matchups incorrect. Like in the Matrix, I'd gotten some of my predictions wrong in the Matrix. So I don't think it was the army choice necessarily that brought me down a little bit. I think it was the fact that some of the armies I hadn't played properly, or I hadn't, thought about the way that they could use their army, and I got some of my pairings incorrect. And I think that's the key thing there. But I did really enjoy using the Blood Angels. They were a very fun army to play at the WTC. There was there was a chance that I could have played the Dark Angels, but I think the Dark Angels are a bit more toolboxy and stuff like that. But I wanted to play an army which could kind of bring mass pressure, so we went with Angels instead, and they worked in 5 of the rounds out of the 7. But there were 2 where the Blood Angels let the team down a little bit, but I don't think that was down to the choice of Blood Angels. I think that was down to me getting some of my matchups incorrect.
Okay, I mean that's interesting to see the kind of how the Matrix can kind of come into play.
Yeah, the Matrix is very, very important.
I feel like it's a dark art though, because it's very hard unless you've like played all these matchups often against people like the same level as you.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, with you guys, you are doing lots of practice and lots of scrimming and lots of like internal like testing and things. But for like us going to an event and it's like trying to figure out like what are my good matches, bad matches. Well, like I beat that faction at that tournament. I beat this person there. I did that there. But like you don't, it's not consistent necessarily. I can beat 2 Dark Angels players at Glasshammer and then come against Toby and then lose. Like it doesn't necessarily and now I don't know what I would put down as my Dark Angel matchup, because I'm like, well, it depends a bit on like what exact type of Dark Angels they are, because if they're all melee, it's a pretty good matchup. If they've got that one or two big shooting units that's scary, that makes it a lot harder. And if they play that correctly, then it becomes a problem. And so there's so many like ifs and buts, like just saying this number here it makes it very hard to like build out a matrix as someone that's inexperienced in doing it and doesn't have the time to put like play all these matchups. Over and over.
It's very tough to do. It's very tough to do. But it is, I think, the number one thing when you're going into an event is to have your matrix accurate. Even if it looks slightly worse than it should, even if you've got more losses in there than you've got wins for your army, for a couple of players and stuff like that, as long as it's accurate, I think that's the main thing. Because when you pair off that matrix and you try and get people into good matchups based off that matrix and stuff like that, which is where, like, this is where you got to learn some lessons. Like I got some of my pairings wrong, like some of my matchups wrong there, but we'd paired for them because we thought they were better than they were. And so we paired that way, and then my army didn't bring in the results that I said it was going to bring, and that's because my matrix was incorrect. So I think more important than having your matrix look strong, your matrix needs to be accurate. I think that's a really, really big thing to get right if you're going to a teams event, and I think that can bring your team from like a mid-level team to a top-tier team, just by having an accurate matrix for the people your pairing team to use to pair from. I think that's a very, very big learning point.
Also have a pairing team, right?
Have a pairing team.
Have all the extra help from other people, and which I'm sure is very helpful. And it also makes that whole experience more. I bet that's great. Like going to a tournament like that with 8 people is one thing, but how many guys did a Team England take?
I think we took it was 15 or 16,
which is just fantastic.
Yeah, so it's like 8 players and then like 7 coaches, something like that. I think it was like a good 15 of us. Yeah.
Is that including like Tom, who was like running the stream stuff as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some really funny like little. I love the little clips that you guys had in between the games and stuff of like. The silly stuff.
We do some,
like the law quiz,
some light-hearted questions and stuff
it actually
like that.
Genuinely made it so fun. Just like, I'll just leave the stream on even though in between games, like I've seen them all, and I was like, all right, I'll come back later.
It's like, we just give people a fun insight into like who the lads are on Team England and how we are with each other.
I honestly, I love that. I think that's probably my favorite learning. I was chatting to Greg Chamberlain about this a bit earlier, like how lovely just the whole competitive community is. And like, I mean, I think I was quite drunk at the time, but I think Glasshammer was the perfect example of that, because you look around the room, there was never not a smile on everyone's face, even like if they were getting their ass handed to them. Like there was always a laugh going on, and like
everyone had a lot of fun. Everyone had a lot of fun at the Birmingham one.
Yeah, I was really impressed, because obviously it is only toy soldiers, but like most tournaments have like the odd moment with issues and things like that, but it just didn't seem like there was any like moment of the fatigue getting to someone, and that the little bit of friction and things like that. It just didn't feel like that happened. But again, that might be because I was hammered the whole time, so I just didn't notice it going.
Just as constantly supplying Toby with alcohol.
Yeah. At least if you're at the Wolverhampton one this time, you won't have to deal with me in a tiara and a sash.
That's so funny.
Yeah, maybe we'll make that a tradition of the Glasshammer tour.
Oh yeah, if you do that same weekend every year, Manny, we'll make it happen.
Oh okay. Mate, honestly, best birthday I've had, possibly ever, actually. To be honest, it was
awesome.
It was. Yeah, mate. Honestly, surrounded by that many of your friends, and like
it was like 16 of us, wasn't there?
16
crows,
of
and
us.
never mind all of our like friends within the community, just specifically 16 crows. Then there was like obviously all of the people we get on so well with across like all these other teams. It's fantastic, because that's the other thing. It's like you think in a sort of competitive scene where you've got all these different teams. It can be quite insular, like and clicky. But I find that you can just go up and talk to anyone. Like you just join in conversations with people. You know, if you know someone that's having a conversation with someone, it's not like, oh, I'll wait till they're done. You just walk up and just start joining in and having a laugh with them, and it's just like it's such a great atmosphere. So
yeah, I think that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to with my next Glasshammer event. Are there going to be any more this year, do you reckon, after Wolves, or is that still to be decided?
I think there potentially might be one more this year, but we're looking at early next year as well, definitely. So either, you know, like towards the middle or end of January or the start of February, definitely be one around then. And hopefully we'll get the numbers of that one up quite high.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I guess that will depend a little bit when the the first teams tournament of the year is.
That's February.
The ITT, yes, that's in February. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's mark that in diaries. But yeah,
just say I haven't planned a tournament for January yet, so
no, nor have I actually. So that'd be a nice way to kick off 2025. So I think maybe we'll have to call at the banner for Black Crow for that one. So I think
man, it'd be cool. We'll try and get one in towards the end of January then. I think.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we could get some guys coming along to that. I think January has always been one of those ones where we haven't. Like I think Nottingham's always been a little bit too early for us.
But last year I went to Nottingham and Peterborough Slam in January. Like this year,
yeah. I went to Peterborough Slam because that was
we played against each other.
So it was just for a bit of a laugh here, buddy. Sam walks up to him and goes, "Oh shit, I've paired into you. You got triple redemptor. This is going to be terrible." And then proceeds to steamroll me harder than anything you can imagine.
It was really funny because I was like, "Oh, there's not really any good staging area in no man's land." So I just went, "Well, there's a good one in my home area. Let me just longball it across the board with 6/6 auto ain't bound into 3 vehicles." Oh, there we are.
Why not?
I was literally just playing Liam Calabout's list because I was like, screw it, I've got the bits to do it. Let's have a laugh and see what it's like. And after that game, I literally turned around when we were all having the meal later, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not playing this list ever again."
I got 300 points day one of that event.
Yeah,
all
right,
nice.
bitch.
Yeah, and then proceeded to get absolutely spanked by Dom and freaking Nurglings.
Well, yeah,
2 leadership tests on Nurglings to run away from my Exalted Ape. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Oh, sorry, I've just realised what the problem was with my mic. It was turned all the way down. So I'm really smart.
I did say just turn it up. All right.
I didn't know. All right, sorry. Just to give context here, I've just bought a new freestanding mic because I swear to God, every video I've done, like I do it on Thursdays, people go, "Your mic's shit, get a freestanding mic." So I broke and bought a freestanding mic, and then when we jumped in the stream, it was just like, "Oh shit, yeah, this does not work." Anyway, people have not come to hear about my mic. They have, however, come to hear our Manny ask me anything. I know we've got about 5 minutes left.
We'll quick fire some questions, I guess.
Yes, go on.
So we did put in our Black Crow chat, to anyone wants to ask questions. So I've got a couple written down, but also in the chat now, if you have any questions for Manny, please put them in. We'll try and get to them. But yeah, so first one is what was the first faction you ever played, and what is your favorite edition?
Ooh, that's interesting. So my first faction I ever played was Orcs. Yeah, nice. First faction I ever played was Orcs. I absolutely love Orcs. My absolute favorite army. Absolute favorite army.
Which edition did you play Orcs in?
They're just so cool. Oh no, I think I went and got Orcs before I played. So I played competitively when I was 18, 19, so 10, 11 years ago.
Right, okay.
But before that, when I was in high school, year 7 or 8, I was bought a little bit of Warhammer. I didn't play, but I was bought some Orcs. And that was, so it was in year 7 or 8 when I was 12 years old. That's when I got some. I didn't play until I was 18. I got the Orcs 6 years before I even played a game.
Wow, yeah. I think there's a lot of people that got like a little bit of Warhammer in it as a kid, and then when they were later on, they played a lot more. I just played from when I was like 12. I think my first tournament was when I was like 13, 12 or 13, and then I played non-stop tournaments until like my like mid to early to mid 20s, and then stopped for a bit, and then have come back recently. So we probably met at some tournaments back then, but just you know, like when you were like 18, because we were about the same age, right? So anyway, other questions. So
an edition, sorry, yeah. So
the
my
edition,
favorite editions, I have two. So like 7th edition, I think
Mhm.
before all the crazy Death Stars came out towards the end of
I
7th
love
edition.
those Death Stars.
Yeah, like towards the middle of 7th, before all the crazy formations and stuff came out, it was a really good game. I thought that was great. And also now, I think that the job that Josh and his team are doing,
Yeah,
you know,
phenomenal.
with balancing the team is actually the meta is actually very, very good. And I think right now there's quite a lot of armies that could all compete.
Yeah,
So
it's
not
like
just
I
one
think the
or
most
two.
balanced I've ever seen it. Like
Yeah, so I think right now is great. I love right now.
That's a really good point. Go on, Sam. What's question 2?
So Ditz asked, what was his journey like to becoming what he is now? Was 40k something that always you clicked with, or was it just like you started playing and you and ended up playing lots? Like
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I used to play paintballing. I used to do paintballing with a group of mates, and they played Warhammer, and I was the guy. And this was when we were like 18, 19. This is when I got into it. I was the guy that was like, they were like, "Oh, Manny, we're playing this Warhammer thing. Do you want to come to an event with us? Because we're going to a tournament." And I was the guy that was like, "Oh, you guys are going away for the weekend to play with Barbie dolls." That was me. And now look at me, Barbie doll champ. Yeah.
World champion of Barbies.
But yeah, so and also I just went along because I was going with mates, and they were like, basically the way they sold it to me, they were like, "Wow, you'll meet 5 new people, you'll make some new mates, and on Saturday night we'll go out and get smashed." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm down." So I went down, and I just had a great time. You know, I played 5 awesome people, made friends with all 5 of them, and I was down there with 5 or 6 mates as well. And then we went out on the Saturday night, and we just had a great night. We all went to eat together with some of the new friends we made at the tournament, and then we had drinks, and it was just absolutely fantastic. So then I thought they asked me again at the end of it, "Oh, are you going to come back to another one with us?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And then I thought to myself, I was like 1-4. I lost 4 games and then won my 5th one. So I'd lost 4 and played someone else who lost 4 and won 1 game at the event. That was my first ever event. And that was, I think, with 2 practice games. I played 2 games to learn how the game worked, kind of, and then just went. So that was pretty cool. And then I thought, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I want to do it properly. I want to actually try, because I'm quite competitive. So I was like, if I want to keep going back, I'm going to try my best. And that's how it all started.
Nice. So the next.
Sorry, so just to jump in on here, we'll do one last question if that's all right, man, and then we'll let you away to your teaming link compound.
Oh, it's all cool, man. I think I've got about 5 minutes. It's all good.
Okay,
it's all good.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, this one's a little bit more I guess serious, but like the interest. But like, do you think cheating can be mitigated more in the comp game? And what do you think should be done to curb repeat offenders? Because obviously recently we had that quite like public Tacoma Open issues. And you know, people. I obviously didn't know the person beforehand, but apparently it was somebody that has been caught on stream having issues before. And so, you know, what is your opinion as someone that plays at these top levels? Like,
Yeah, I think it's really, really rough, because I think there's I think you can identify, I think, sometimes between cheating and like an honest mistake. Because, you know, on that level as well, if you've played like 5 or 6 games and then you're in a finals game or something like that, and there's like, say you play like one stratagem ever so slightly wrong because one word you missed or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I could get that somebody's made an honest mistake, and
it can
that's
happen.
cool. Like, it does happen after a really long weekend as well. But I think the ones where I think there's some where I've seen that like they've done something in a game, and then they've been told that that's not the right way to play it. But then later on in the same event, they've done it again in another game.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, but now it's like quite blatant, like what you're doing.
as soon as you've been corrected, that is like at the forefront of your brain. Like if you're like,
Yeah.
oh crap, I've done that wrong, or no, like, and if you actually feel like, oh crap, I've done it wrong, I
Yeah.
feel really bad or
Yeah.
whatever. It's at the forefront. You're not going to make that same
Yeah,
mistake.
you're not going to do it again
There's
because you
no
feel
way.
bad about
There's
it.
no
Yeah.
way. Like it's going to be like you're going to be super focused on not making that mistake again, and like, when you see someone make that mistake multiple times, or some more blatant stuff, that literally cannot be a mistake. Like just going back to the example of Tacoma, like the previous issue that guy had was that he had read from his rulebook and had just not said the bit that stopped him from doing the thing that he was doing on
That's
stream.
different. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, it's not an honest mistake. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there is,
Yeah.
especially when we're talking about these like finals and stuff, they're tired because sometimes it's like, game 4 of the day,
Mhm.
and after a whole weekend or multiple days of gaming, mistakes happen. People do make mistakes, but there is, worries of like, what should we do about when it's clearly not a mistake,
Mhm.
or that person seems to make a lot of mistakes in their favor regularly. You've got to give a
Yeah,
bit
I
of
think
benefit of the doubt, but when does that stop?
so. I think if it's like quite blatant, if it's obvious that this person's not made an honest mistake, it's quite blatant what they've done. I think a penalty at the event is in order. I think definitely like some sort of penalty, whatever the TOs have as their penalty system, you should get a penalty of some sort. And if you do it again, then you should be disqualified, in my opinion. Like if you do it at the same event again, and then you should be disqualified. And I think if someone's like a repeat offender, then a cooling off period is probably like the best thing. Like a cooling off period is probably needed. Like maybe like for 3 months or 6 months or something like that, they're not allowed to play in your events again or something like that. Like from the TO, from the organization of that event themselves, or maybe even like the wider community. Like I don't know how you would do that though, like getting all the TOs together to agree on something where
Yeah, I
if
mean,
every TO was like, okay, for 3 months this player cannot play in any of our events or something like that.
it's not an easy thing to organize. Obviously, you've got
Yeah, it's
small
quite hard
events,
to
big
do.
events, but like I believe there are some like TO groups and places where you could just talk
Yeah.
about, like there could be an awareness within the TO community of like, okay, this person's been a problem at my event. Feel free to do whatever you want, whether you want to stop him or not. But be aware, like awareness of,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they can't just go, I'll just go over to this area and do the same thing because they've
yeah.
not caught me yet,
Yeah, I
sort of
agree.
thing.
And this is the thing, it's a very, very big thing, like a big issue. It's a big thing. So I don't have the answer.
No,
Like
of course not. It's just
I'm not
getting your
sure.
opinion, right?
I'm not sure like exactly what could be done or what you could do. But yeah, there's like some things that you think could be a good idea, maybe. But I'm really not sure. It's a big thing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Something to consider as you're diving deeper into the land of TOing and
Of
not
running
just going and
tournaments,
winning
yeah.
tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come up.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
obviously, like it's all about us actually just going and having fun. It's just making sure that somebody doesn't go and ruin it for some 5 people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, equally at the Glasshammer events, I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of Dan. You can tell he just looks like he'd be an absolute brawler if you tried him on the
No
wrong
nonsense. Yeah.
side. Go on, Sam. What else have we got?
Oh, we got oh, this one's a fun one to earn on. So can you ask him if he doesn't roll a 6, what does he do then?
Oh, the game's over, man.
No,
Just roll sixes.
just roll sixes. Just roll sixes, guys.
That's
That's all
my
you do.
strategy. Just roll sixes. That's my strategy. So when they don't come through, then yeah, I struggle.
Ironically, I feel like you don't want to roll a 6 on that, like on the second roll of the game to see who goes first. You really don't want to see a 6.
Don't roll sixes there. Roll sixes all the time except for going first. You just want ones. God. It is weird because like Manny, you say you've played for quite some time, but there was a time where going second was almost like a death sentence. You really wanted to go first. If you didn't go first, like, oh, I need to seize the initiative, and there was
Especially
even like
in some games when you're playing like Death Star versus Death Star, and you're like, oh, it's just who goes first here.
I mean, I literally played Dark Elder, Drakari, but Dark Elder back then, with the Baron purely because he gave you +1 to go first. There was a character that just gave you +1 to go first. I'm like, that means I go first most of my games. Yes, please. I'm going to play that army.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because first turn was just so big. But then, the season initiative was massive as well.
Season initiative would
I've rolled a 6. I'm going first now.
Yep. and you deployed based knowing who was going first. So you would deploy with yourself like out in the open because you're like, oh, I'm going to get to move here and do this thing. And then they see the initiative like, oh, I just lost half my army turn 1. Whoops.
Oopsie. Right. Well, okay. I think we'll look to sort of square up and finish up. But so what we'll do first, we'll do the important bits, which is thanking our sponsors so very much. And we have one of our sponsors here. Thank you so much to the wonderful Glasshammer Gaming.
No, thank you guys. I mean, you guys do brilliant work, and you deserve to be sponsored. I think you guys are a great group of people as well. I think it's just phenomenal, and we help each other out. I think you guys bring a lot of attention to us as well, and it's a team effort. It's a team effort.
I mean, I literally, before we came on tonight, bought some stuff from Glasshammer using code Black Crow.
Have you seen the episode of Vanguard Tactics, Manny, where Chris literally the entire time just goes, oh, yeah, and if you go to Glasshammer Gaming, you can get 5% off by using Black Crow.
He's wearing a Black Crow t-shirt, and every other sentence out of his mouth is Glasshammer Gaming, Black Crow. Like, it's fantastic.
I'll link you to it, and it is genuinely if that man could drop a plug, he drops a plug. It's
amazing.
It's
very cool.
It was so good. Just sitting there going, Steve is going to have our guts for garters. This is not so good. But yeah, no, that was so Glasshammer. Go and use the code Black Crow, and you get 5% off, and that includes for the Glasshammer GTs. So definitely go and check that out. Oh, we're getting cat cam. Here comes Sam's lovely fluffy friend. Thank you to our sponsor, Sam's Cat. So yeah, head over to Glasshammer. You can get some really nice cheap Warhammer as well. I know it's our premier supplier, and you can get it pretty damn quick as well. Like if you need something in the short for a tournament, I know when we had the Glasshammer GT, I got a tank that I needed very quickly for the tournament in time. So well worth checking that one out. And then our other sponsor, Terrain Forge. Feel free to go check them out as well. They do some lovely bespoke terrain. You can get one with a little Black Crow Gaming symbol on it, or you can get your own symbol on there. And it's BCG5 at checkout to get yourself 5% off that as well. So yeah, go check out Terrain Forge as well. It's actually, funny enough, your co-worker and friend Dan in Team Wales, they actually use Terrain Forge as a supplier, I think. So yeah, if you like that, go check them out. But finally, we'll say thank you so much to Manny for taking time.
Thanks, Manny.
Yeah, and
thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. It's been lots and lots of fun.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that, man. And congratulations on the WTC and how much fun you guys all seem to have there, and just being fantastic ambassadors for England. And can't wait to see you at the next Glasshammer GT.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. And yeah, anyone that can make it, guys, you still got 7 days to get a ticket for the Glasshammer GT Wolverhampton and get your list in. It's going to be a really cool event, and it's on the 31st of August and the 1st of September. Awesome. Nice way to end the summer.
Absolutely, the best way to end the summer. And just before we go, if you are thinking of carrying on watching some Warhammer content, we've got one of our friends of the channel, Greg Chamberlain and Charles Gould. They're streaming over on Top the Table Minis. They're doing Gene Stealer Cults versus Tyranids right now. So yeah, go check them out, give them some love, and please do like, subscribe, share this video, comment, tell us what you think, everything like that, and then check out our slate
tactics videos.
Yeah, we've got our 3 tactics videos where you can listen to me talk about absolute shit and like lose the whole time anyway. And then you can listen to 2 actual sensible players talk about Custodies and World Eaters.
That's the person that won his last 2 RTTs.
No, last one
in the final. So... Oh, okay. You've been to another one. I forgot you've been to another one.
We'll talk less about that one. But yeah, no, you can listen to me go, hey, look, play the Broken Army. That kind of helps. And then we'll have our battle report on the Sunday. So yeah, go check that out. I've been Toby.
I'm Sam.
I'm Manny.
thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Cheers, bye.